Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host as always Ryan, and today we will be doing another top 5 rankings video. We are going to be looking at Chavo Guerrero. So when people hear the name Guerrero, obviously they think of Eddie, and rightly so. He's an absolute legend in the world of WWE and also in the wrestling world itself. But I think people should also think of Chavo too. He's a very solid worker. He was good in ring, had some good solid matches in his career. And to be honest with you, after doing a little Google search and a little YouTube search, I realised that there isn't actually any that I've found, anyway, that I've come across. I've never found a single top 5 best of Chavo Guerrero matches, which is surprising considering he's been wrestling now for years. Um, there's hundreds of Eddie Guerrero ones, but there's not that I can find. I may be wrong, but like I say, I did a quick search on Google and YouTube too, and didn't come up with absolutely anything. So I decided, that's what we're going to do today. We are going to be doing top 5 Chavo Guerrero matches. So it's going to include his entire career in WWE, even in TNA, and what we're going to do, as always, is list them starting with number 5 down to number 1. It can be tag team matches, singles matches, either or. So that's what we're going to do today. So as always, you can play along with me. Let me know in the comments section what your top 5 Chavo Guerrero matches are. See if they match up with mine. If they don't, let me know which ones you would have in the top 5 instead of the ones I have picked. So we're going to start at number 5, and to be honest with you, this was harder than you'd think. Like say, considering there wasn't any other lists about, there was at least another 2, maybe 3 matches that I could have come in this, like the Chavo versus Eddie hair versus hair match back in WCW, at Bash at the Beach, I want to say 1998. That could have made it, but it just got pipped out to these 5. So we're going to start at number 5. I'm going to start with Los Guerreros versus the world's greatest tag team, WWE tag team titles on the line on SmackDown in 2004. Absolutely love that era of WWE, a lot better than what the era is now. Ruthless Aggression era, I'd probably say, was my favourite era in WWE. So I love both these teams back in the day. World's greatest tag team. Haas and Benjamin came into this match as champions, but Los Guerreros were really fired up and ready to go. Eddie only previously had won the US Championship, so he was already a champion going into this match, before obviously then going for the tag belts with Chavo. Like I say, they were fired up and ready to go, so the match starts very fast paced with Los Guerreros taking the early advantage and not giving the champs a second to think, with quick tags and managing to stay on top. Hassan Benjamin, though, did come back into the match doing some work on Chavo's arm, keeping him away from Eddie, not being able to let him take a tag, and kept working that arm, singling it out. They were really good at that style of wrestling. Obviously, they started as Team Angle under Kurt Angle, so they learned from one of the best, shall we say. When Eddie goes down, when Eddie does get the tag, Eddie comes in fired up and takes it to both guys. Haas gets out of the way of a frog splash, and then Haas distracts the ref while Shelton swings Eddie with a chair to no avail. So he swings in, misses, and then Chavo comes from behind and hits a drop kick to the back of his leg to put him down. Chavo then drops Shelton with a perfect suplex, while Eddie then climbs the turnbuckle, does a little, and then hits his frog splash for the win, and they become tag team champions. So Eddie comes away with 2 belts, he's US champ and the WWE tag team champion as well. So that is number 5, and that was my favourite favourite version of WWE tag belts in history, the WWE ones that they introduced in 2002. That was my favourite design. I really like them tag belts. Um, Going on to number 4. And I've gone for a singles match this time. Chavo Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio in an I Quit match on SmackDown in 2006. Obviously, after Eddie Guerrero unfortunately passed away in 2005, Rey Mysterio was able to hit new heights in his career, winning the Royal Rumble and then going on then to become World Heavyweight Champion, winning that at WrestleMania versus Kurt Angle and Randy Orton. And the story obviously he did was he was doing it for Eddie. You know, Eddie's in heaven smiling down on his best friend, and gives him that extra push to be able to do things that he wouldn't normally be able to do. The build to this match then seeing WWE use Eddie's death as a way to turn Chavo heel and have him unhappy with Rey living off the Guerrero name basically to better himself and his career. Not a great storyline, I'd have to admit. I'm not a big fan on people using other people's deaths to try and either get over or, you know, get over as a face or a heel. Basically, not too much of a fan of that myself. But wasn't a great storyline, but the match was. You know, it's one of the most remembered matches from SmackDown around that time. Rey, as expected, started out on top in the match and even looking to finish things early with a 619 before Vicky Guerrero interfered on Chavo's half. Chavo then gained the advantage using a steel chair, nailing Rey in the head before going to work on Rey's leg. The match built then to the outside and went up to the entrance ramp with both guys selling the hatred for one another. Like, you could really feel that these guys really didn't get on and didn't like each other anymore. At the end of the match, Rey ended up upside down, hanging from the entrance scaffolding that they used, with his legs caught, while Chavo repeatedly smashed it with a chair, forcing Rey then to yell, "I quit," into the microphone. A really good shot that is remembered, you know, by a lot of people when you talk about obviously this match. People just remember that shot. It's quite memorable, where Rey's upside down and Chavo's just laying into him with a chair. So that comes in at number 4. So number 3. Now this is the only match that I've included from TNA. I was a fan of Chavo's run in TNA. Didn't think it was great. It was nothing spectacular. You know, he spent quite a lot of time in the tag division, but it's not to say that he didn't have some really solid matches along the way. So in at number 3 we have Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez versus Christopher Daniels and Kazarian versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle for the TNA Tag Team Championships at Bound for Glory pay-per-view in 2012. A really good match from a solid TNA pay-per-view. You know, this is the one that had James Storm versus Bobby Roode in the brutal match. Is one of my all-time favourite matches in TNA history, that one. A big fan of Daniels and Kazarian as a tag team in every company that they've wrestled in together. You know, they've tag teamed in TNA, Ring of Honor, even AEW. You know, I was a big fan of them together, and I've actually managed to meet both of them. Got a photo with the two of them together at a Ring of Honor show back in the day. I really enjoyed Styles and Kurt Angle as a tag team as well. Styles is another one I've had a photograph with. Two of my favourites all time teaming together, which is always fun. Like, I really enjoyed Styles and Daniels together. Again, another two of my favourites when they tag team together. So when they put Angle and Styles together, I loved it. I thought it was great. Chavo and Hernandez were a really good fit, and was a good way for Chavo to come into TNA. You know, as we know, he is a really good, solid tag team wrestler. Chavo spent a lot of the start of this match in the ring, mixing up with each of his opponents. A good sequence to end this match after a lot of high spots to the outside. So, like, this one was a triple threat tag team match, so it was one fall to finish. And like I say, there was a lot of high spots in this match. Obviously, you've got, you know, AJ Styles, Chavo Guerrero, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, all like to take it to the air. Kaz hits the TKO on Styles, followed by a BME from Daniels, but they only managed to get a 2 count. Chavo then hits a crossbody off the top rope to Kazarian, who's then outside the ring. And Styles goes for the Styles Clash on Crystal Daniels after reversing the Angel's Wings, but Daniels is able to block it. Hernandez then comes back into the ring via a slingshot shoulder block and then hits the border toss on Daniels before Chavo then hits a frog splash off the top turnbuckle for the win, and they become new TNA Tag Team Champions to the disappointment of the crowd, who then decide to boo the heel tag team as they weren't a fan of the outcome. But that's what heels are there for. They're supposed to be booed, they're not supposed to be cheered. So a really, really good solid match. Again, from a really, really good solid pay-per-view from TNA. So that is number 3. So we'll move on to number 2. So I've gone for, at number 2, Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit versus Los Guerreros in a WWE Tag Team title match, Survivor Series 2002. And unlike the one before, this one was an elimination match, like we like to watch in Survivor Series, is elimination tag team. So this was 2 on 2 on 2. And obviously, if one team got pinned, one member of a team got pinned, then that team was eliminated, and then it'd go on to team versus team at the end. This was following on from the tournament on SmackDown to crown the first ever WWE Tag Team Champions, who would be obviously champions exclusively on the blue brand. You know, Raw had their Tag Team Champions. Theirs was the World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and these were going to be the WWE Tag Team Champions way back in 2002. Angle and Benoit were the first champs coming up, winning the tournament, becoming the first WWE Tag Team Champions, but they absolutely hated each other, and the other teams did play into that as they were champions. They played into the fact that they didn't like each other and didn't get on. Edge and Rey Mysterio then won the tag belts next, who were the actual tag team champions going into this match as well, and they won the belts via some unwanted help from Los Guerreros. So the story build up to this was great, and the match did not disappoint with 20 minutes of entertaining tag team elimination action. When the match starts, the Guerreros do everything that they can to not get tagged into the match so they can remain the fresher team. Like I say, it's not just one pin and win. You know, the first team gets pinned and eliminated, and then you got another team versus, you know, 2 sets of teams, like in a 2-on-2 situation, if you like. So obviously we've seen it a couple of times when either a member of the other 2 teams were trying to tag out using Los Guerreros as corner, and they jumped off the turnbuckle and were like, oh, nothing to do with us. So they tried the best to stay out of it for as long as possible to be the fresher of the 3 teams. Angle and Benoit are the first to be eliminated. Eddie is in the ankle lock and Edge is in the crossface, but with the ref watching Angle and Eddie, Chavo manages to slip in and nail Benoit in the back of the head with a title, and then Angle chases Chavo off. Chavo gives him the belt as he leaves the ring. Obviously, Angle turns around with the belt. Benoit gets up. I've been hit in the head. Sees Angle and is not happy at all. So, arguments and shoving then ensues. Angle gets taken out the ring, and then Benoit eats a spear and is pinned 1, 2, 3. So then they are arguing after they've been eliminated. They, like I say, they're the first eliminated, so then they are arguing afterwards. And then they decide to then go and try and outdo each other and then start suplexing every other member of the match that's still involved. You know, like Angle will do a suplex on one, and then Benoit will be like, well, I'm not being outdone by that, I'll do 2 suplexes, and then Angle will do an angle slam, and then they argued and went up the ramp arguing. I think Chavo was the only one that actually managed to escape any punishment. Was it Chavo? No, Eddie. Sorry, it was Eddie. Chavo got a suplex, but Eddie was the only one that managed to escape without getting attacked after they'd been eliminated. So, like I say, the title came into play with that elimination, and the title then comes into play again in the finale of the match, with the referee once again distracted, telling Edge to leave the ring, and as he isn't the legal man, Chavo then hits Rey with the title belt this time, before Eddie locks in the El Paso Lasso, forcing Rey Mysterio then to tap out, and winners and new tag team champions are the Los Guerreros. So they come out on top with the tag belts in that match. Really good match, and again another good solid pay-per-view as well. The first Elimination Chamber was on that pay-per-view too. So as always, I'll run down from 5 down to 2 before giving you the best ever Chavo Guerrero match. And don't forget, play along with me. Let me know if there's any I've missed out. Let me know if you think they're in the wrong order. I could have the same 5 matches as you, but you might pick them in different orders. So let me know in the comment section. And like I say, as far as I'm aware, this is the first ever top 5 Chavo Guerrero match list. So in at number 5 is Los Guerreros versus the world's greatest tag team for the WWE Tag Team Championships at SmackDown 2004. In at number 4 is Chavo Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio in an I Quit match on SmackDown in 2006. In at number 3 is the only match from TNA, and that's Chavo and Hernandez versus Daniels and Kazarian versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle for the TNA Tag Team Championships at Bound for Glory 2012. In at number 2 is Edge and Rey Mysterio defending their tag team championships against Benoit and Angle and Los Guerreros at Survivor Series 2002. So what could be better than that? Well, I've gone for the singles match, to be honest, for number 1. And I've gone for Chavo Guerrero versus CM Punk for the ECW Heavyweight Championship, which was on ECW Weekly TV back in March of 2008. Now, a lot of people probably only remember Chavo's ECW title reign by how he lost the belt, which, as we know, was a couple of seconds against Kane at WrestleMania, which basically Kane comes in, chokeslams and pins him, takes the title, which was a bit of a crap way to end your run. Before that, though, he did have a decent program with CM Punk for the title. Given that Edge did obviously interfere in the original match and help him defeat CM Punk for the title, but this match proved that it was no fluke that Chavo was the ECW champion, as he then manages to beat CM Punk in a rematch with no interference, and it was a good solid 15-16 minute match as well. So this is my number 1. What I deem to be Chavo's greatest match. Early on, Chavo knocked Punk off the top rope to the outside, which caused Punk to fall a bit awkwardly and land on his leg, which was then obviously causing an injury, which then Chavo decided to go to work on, and he'd put submission moves on it. He'd attack it as much as possible, and to be honest with you, in this, Chavo remained in control for literally most of the match, and it was, to be fair, it was more submission based than what we used to from ECW of old, but this is more WWE ECW at this point. You know, we had rope breaks, DQs and all sorts that were going on at this time, but it was a really good solid match, and like I say, Chavo went to work on the leg and basically dominated the match, is what you could say. You know, CM Punk only had a couple of rallies where he tried to come back, but Chavo would always take it back to the leg, and to be honest with you, it was a pretty solid match and a really dominant display from Chavo, who then picks up the victory at the end and retains his ECW World Championship with a frog splash. So there you have it. That is my top 5, and to be honest with you, from what I'm gathering, the only top 5 Chavo Guerrero matches list. So as always, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Let me know if you agree with these top 5, if there's any you think have missed off, or if you agree with the top 5 but they're in the wrong order. And share this video, share our channel. You know, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Let's try and get this shared around and see if we can get other people to watch and let us know what their top 5 Chavo Guerrero matches are. Like I say, I can't believe that someone who's wrestled for so long has not had a single list about his best matches, and I think, I'm actually glad and I'm proud to be the first one to do it. So, as always, stay tuned. Coming soon for more wrestling related content from the wrestling group coming your way very, very soon.